Is Trinidad Chambliss about to go off on LSU's $18 million defense?
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm your host, Steven Willis, a 10-year vet of the national media with Yahoo Sports and a former Ole Miss staff member. We're going to bring in the mayor of Corinth, Tom Vanderford, to give his thoughts on the quarterback and the LSU game as a whole. But thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen every day. And please give us a like, subscribe, and comment. On your way out, check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, is available for you. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned for later in the show for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Now, Tom, I am dead serious. Is Trinidad Chambliss about to go off on LSU's vaunted $18 million transfer portal defense? Because on social media on Thursday, they might get it under control. I doubt it on Friday before this show airs as a pregame show. But on Thursday, they kept saying LSU can't let a Division II quarterback make this $18 million defense look good. And the stage is set for Trinidad to really hurt some feelings on Saturday, potentially.
Yeah, Lord, I hope so. But I understand where they're coming from. They've spent a bunch of money on defense. They expect to be good. But if you look at who they played, they haven't really played anybody with an offense
which isn't their fault. I mean, Clemson and Florida were supposed to be pretty good offensively.
Exactly. Well, and also we haven't played a team with a defense as good as this. So it's going to be a something to see. We played a couple of SEC games before playing them, and we came out relatively unscathed. You know, the big thing every year is how are your injuries? So we're coming into the game healthy. I think that our offense, we've got to have Trinidad clicking because they're gonna stuff the run. We're not great at running the ball anyway. Maybe we'll get some cool running plays out of it. We do have good running back. We got a couple of really good running backs. But, you know, our big thing is on offense is Trinidad Chambliss. We're going to use Perkins to kind of spy Trinidad Chambliss. But it's just he's got that it factor, man. He's got really good vision running the ball. And even though he doesn't look like an NFL quarterback throwing the ball, he's pretty dang good at it.
Yeah, and there's a pass to Deuce Alexander. Deuce Alexander made 3 catches in the Arkansas and the Tulane game that just unbelievable body control, kind of waiting for the ball to get there. It's stuff that you just generally can't teach.
Right.
And it feels like Deuce Alexander is about to really break out and come into the forefront when it was obvious to Austin Simmons, Harrison Wallace was the dude. And all of this is interesting to me. I'm curious to see where it goes because Deuce Alexander, he's lined up in the backfield some. They've done a little bit of the same stuff that they did with Elijah Moore. So I'm kind of curious to see what will happen there. And what will Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss do to scheme up LSU's defense? Because he genuinely likes it when the other team is good defensively. You remember the Alabama game in 2020?
Yeah.
That was the game that Mac Jones and Alabama famously gained every yard they could get, but like 7 that game. The flip side of that is the Ole Miss offense was pretty good that night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Lane Kiffin was able to scheme up Nick Saban and kind of go tit for tat, and there was a fumble that allowed Alabama to pull away and win the game. But The point of this is Lane Kiffin, when he feels like the other team is good defensively or he respects the defensive coordinator, you see a different animal over the scouting of that defense.
I agree. I mean, look at last year against Georgia, so we're going to see a really good game today since this is coming out on Saturday. And that just saw it on Twitter that we're going to have a B-2 fly over the stadium. As somebody who was an engineer for Northrop Grumman, that means a lot to me. But at the same time, it's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be one of the best. This is the first time we've met undefeated since that horrible Halloween game down in Louisiana that some people probably remember. I'm sure they'll show 50 different clips of it like they always do. But
hey, with Alabama going away, this game should go back to Halloween. We should get Halloween back.
We should. And, the LSU Ole Miss rivalry is a big one. It's the biggest one to me that we have at Ole Miss. State's a big rivalry, but the LSU rivalry just hits different for some reason.
It's the game I most want to win every season. The Egg Bowl is the game I most don't want to lose.
That's exactly my point. Yeah, That's exactly my point. But you just look at it. Our big thing is going to be, can we contain Nussmeier? Can we stop the run game, and can we force him to try and pass on us? If it was me, and I'm not the coach by any means, but I would. Speaking of having a spy, I would put Mr. Perkins on Mr. Nussmeier, so he couldn't make any of those extended running plays that he has in the past few weeks.
Yeah. It will be interesting because you're exactly right. That is my number one key to this football game is stopping LSU's run game. And I know everybody's going to snicker at all that. Ha, ha, ha. And it really is the resistible force versus the movable object, whenever the Ole Miss run defense and LSU run game. But that is the battle. If Ole Miss stops LSU's run, just stops LSU's run, they likely win this football game. That's how important it is.
Exactly. And like William Eccles was saying this week, they just got a bad taste in their mouth after last year. So they kind of gave that game away last year. And we're in Oxford. I think it'll be totally different.
All right. Whenever we come back, we'll talk to Tom about Lane Kiffin's revenge tour that is currently going on. So stick around for that. This episode, though, is brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it is about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, culture, they keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward is Deuce Alexander's long catch of a touchdown from Trinidad Chambliss, showing elite body control. He made similar catches earlier in that game and against Arkansas. This has been a major spark plug for Ole Miss, and defense is trying to figure out. They don't even know who to double team right now. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. That is just more. There's more to every highlight, and there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Move and be moved. Do us a favor and like and subscribe and comment on this video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcatcher you're listening to. And, of course, give it a 5-star review. It costs absolutely nothing, but it helps keep all of this free. If you want more, join the Insiders program on the subtext link down below. No trolls, 14-day free trial, and the easiest way ever to cancel. So give it a try. And don't forget to check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, is ready for you. All right, Tom, the revenge tour is underway for Lane Kiffin. This is the second stop on the Lane Kiffin revenge tour from a year ago. And I do believe it is genuinely a real thing, the revenge tour. I like to make jokes about it and joke about it happening, but I do think it is a real thing. I do think Lane is petty enough, despite all of the niceties that came out with the documentary, to remember the three teams that kept him from going to the playoffs, because the reality is last year's team should have been 12-0. They finished 9-3. This year's LSU team reminds me so much of that Ole Miss team. This is an extremely talented roster, but they're beatable. They don't have a running game at the moment. They have a fifth-year quarterback. They have an unbelievably talented defense. And instead of playing the game in Tiger Stadium where they got the win a year ago, keeping Ole Miss out of the playoff, now they come to Oxford. Honestly, for a couple of years, they come to Oxford in a game that when teams are good, when both sides are good, the road team generally doesn't win.
That's correct. And I really do believe today that's going to be that's going to continue. I've just got a good feeling about the game.
I feel remarkably good about this game as well. Like uncomfortably good about this game.
That's a good analogy. Uncomfortable, because I feel that way too. Get back to Traylon Ray hasn't played all year. He's going to be available. I don't know with all those receivers if he'll get to play. But you get back, when we were getting all of those receivers in the portal, man, for me anyway, Deuce Alexander was an afterthought.
Yeah. I
had no idea. But you're right. He's the guy that can do the jet sweep. He's the guy that, he's an athlete, boy, and he's fast. And he's got great hands, and that's on top of all these other kids we got. And like you said earlier, who are you going to double?
Yeah.
And that's not even mentioned in our tight end game.
Which they played 4 tight ends in the first quarter against Tulane. Played 4.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I may be wrong, but I think that they have a lot of talent. But, talent doesn't necessarily equate to a win, like you mentioned earlier. There's no way that we should have lost to Kentucky last year at home. There's no way.
Which was this weekend, by the way, of last season.
Yeah. There's no way we should have lost to Florida last year. I mean, really, there isn't. And, we should have beat them in Baton Rouge. So that can always happen. All their games, they haven't really blown anybody out except Seabaugh this last weekend. And it's going to be interesting. I don't know if, they're looking for something of an offensive identity. But right now, their offense isn't clicking. And I hope it doesn't click today. They can do whatever after today.
Yeah, after this game, they can do what they want to. They can score 45 points a game after today.
Yeah, right. But I may be wrong. I have been wrong before. But I just get back to Trinidad Chambliss, man. He's got that it factor. He just does. He doesn't make mistakes. Now I know they've had tons of interceptions. And that'll be something to watch as well, because Chambliss hadn't made a mistake yet.
Yeah, and they did break DJ Lagway for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, that is a real thing that happened.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see in the game today if Trinidad just takes care of the ball and just kind of does his thing, Ole Miss will be fine.
Right.
But if you give LSU short fields, if you throw interceptions, if you do the stuff that can get you beat, this is a game that will get you beat.
Yes, it will. Yes,
you need to figure out a way to do to LSU what LSU did to Ole Miss a year ago. And Ole Miss should have dominated and blew that game open in the first half. And all of a sudden, they almost found themselves in a 1-score tight game and let the pressure work. Because the pressure is a real deal. Everybody on Ole Miss's or LSU's roster, Brian Kelly knows that LSU went all in. They know how important this game is at Ole Miss. They're going to come and try and give their best of what's going on. If Ole Miss can make it to the fourth quarter to where that pressure is a real thing, Ole Miss probably is exactly like the line says and is a favorite to win this game.
I agree.
If it's a blowout, if you told me somebody won by 21 points, I would probably lean on LSU figuring it out and get it. But if it's a close, tight game that we all think it should be, that's advantage Ole Miss all day.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got to get pressure on the quarterback. We got to stop the run game.
Exactly. All right. When we come back, we'll get predictions, and everybody driving up to Oxford for the game today, please be careful. Hopefully this stuff is entertaining you while you're going up 55 or down 55 or heck down Highway 13 or Highway 7, going to the ball game. So tune in for the game with, I guess, David Kellum and those guys. They're going to be on the air about an hour and a half before. So we'll see exactly how it goes. But when we come back, Tom is going to give his prediction on what happens today, and it should be pretty interesting. So stick around for that. It's almost the weekend, or it is the weekend. It's time to look back one more time and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more and more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss delivered in a big way. It was an early third down. Trinidad broke contain and scrambled for a long run, leading for a touchdown en route to what would be a destruction of the Tulane Green Wave. And when the pressure was on, he came through. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week now, this wasn't a fluke. This is a streak. And just like Trinidad Chambliss delivered for the Ole Miss Rebels, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You can save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Term supply. Promo period runs through November 18th. Also, caffeine just got a flavor update. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors, each 2-ounce shot packs of caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus vitamin B and nutrients, and all with zero sugar and no crashes. That's what I love about this most, is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot you can take anywhere and get that boost when you need it. Honestly, I love how fast it kicks in and that it's sugar-free, so I don't have to worry about crashing out later, honestly. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in-store or online at 5hourenergy.com. That is the number 5hourenergy.com, or at Amazon today. All right, Tom, real quick before we get out of here, this is a good matchup. This is what we thought this matchup would be before the season started. We knew this game was going to be unbelievably important. I said on my show that it's important to win this game and get to the Georgia game 6-0. If Ole Miss wins this game, they will likely start 6-0. Everything is there for Ole Miss to play for. The team looks like it's really good. Are there some warts? Yeah, maybe. But is it getting better? Yeah, the defensive line against Tulane, when it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2, Tulane had no chance. The D-lines crashed down. So everybody wants to point to the number 16 in the SEC rush defense, but the rush defense is getting better and better. And the pass defense has been very good. One thing before I get your prediction, I expect Sage Ryan to have a big game today.
You took the word out of my mouth. Him and Woman.
Yes.
I think they're gonna show their former team that they were worth that money too. And I think they're gonna show up and show out. So my prediction is 27-24 Ole Miss. 27-24. Mine that I made was 24-17 Ole Miss.
If you look at predictions,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I like that one even better.
Yeah. If you look around the internet, there's a lot of people that are on Ole Miss right now. The only people that seem to be on Louisiana or on LSU are from Louisiana.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed. And they are supremely confident coming to Oxford.
Of course.
Yeah.
But
Which they should be.
Set in those stands over the years when they were ranked high and we weren't, and they were supremely confident, and we tattooed that butt many a time.
Yeah. I still remember, and I've told this story on this podcast earlier on in the week. It was 1983. My mom got tickets in the LSU section because, I mean, she's a mom, she wanted to take her son to a football game. So she probably didn't even know there were tickets for different sections. When Timmy Moffitt broke that punt return for a touchdown, the whiskey bottles started flying.
Oh, yeah.
In the crowd, to the point where my mom was like putting a jacket over my head and all that to prevent me from getting hit from a whiskey bottle. That is where that rivalry took hold for me. And I think stuff like that, moments like that, are where this rivalry took hold for everybody. People always joke when you're entering Mississippi, set your clock back 4 seconds or something like that. Or maybe you're entering Louisiana, set your clock back 4 seconds.
Yeah, that means.
The weird stuff, the ghouls and the goblins. This game literally needs to go back to Halloween. If it does not go back to Halloween, the SEC has failed.
I agree.
Has absolutely failed. It belongs on that date because of the ghouls and the goblins. And I'm 7 years old listening to Miss 103 out of Jackson, and they're playing the Purple People Eaters and all of that before the Ole Miss LSU game. All of that stuff, all of that tradition that was built up through the 50s and the 60s and kind of lost a little bit in the 70s and 80s, not on the Ole Miss side, but it definitely started getting lost in the 2000s when they were playing off of that date. I think we need to get it back. We need to work on the heartstrings a little bit. And games like Ole Miss and LSU playing on Halloween, that's exactly what it does.
Exactly. That's where the game belongs. And you just gotta hate LSU. I mean, I hate them.
Yeah. And it's just a good uniform battle. Even whenever Lane wears the powder white, it still looks fantastic.
Yeah, but I'm hoping for the navy red gray is what I'm hoping for. But oh well.
Yeah. As we record this, they haven't done the reveal yet, but it's going to be the same as Arkansas.
Yeah, the powder white. Mm-hmm. That's fine. I don't care what them kids want to wear as long as they beat LSU.
Yes, and if they beat LSU, seriously, if they win this game, Washington State is not very good. They got beat 59-10 by North Texas.
Yeah.
They are not a very good team coming down to Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss should be 6-0 going to Athens, Georgia. Georgia is likely going to be 6-0. Waiting on that. Game day is likely going to be in Athens, Georgia, because if Ole Miss beats LSU, they're going to catapult up to 8 or 9 or 7 or something like that. And then after the bye week and Washington State, it's going to be a top 5 level matchup set up. And I don't know if Ole Miss is prepared mentally. Now they will be, but I don't know if fans understand if that even registers how big of a game that'll be when it actually gets played.
Oh yeah.
If Ole Miss wins against LSU, that game just explodes.
It does. And it'll be a good game. It's hard to win at Georgia. But we have a more SEC bodied team than we did the last time we went.
We'll see what's up. Anyway, what you got going on this weekend, buddy?
Man, just hanging out with the family, hanging out with the grandkids, watching some good football. I do have tickets because of a good friend of mine and a parking pass for the Washington State game for homecoming. And I'm thinking my little granddaughter that's been on the podcast before, and this will be her first Ole Miss game. So
there we go.
Yeah, I think
it's all about, right?
Yeah, making new records.
Yeah, should be pretty good. Anyway, Tom, thank you for coming on, and we will talk to you next week, buddy.
Yes, sir. You take care.
All right. Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves in offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. If you don't believe me, Google Ole Miss podcast and see how much of this show comes up. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show and is absolutely free. Your support means the world to us. And another big moment on Locked On, college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation, a longtime two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's panel of experts. I was on it this week. It's on the channel for that segment. It's pretty cool. It's on the Fire TV channels app. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Hotty toddy, everybody. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.